Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharidhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharidhari. Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna. So I welcome devotees for this evening Bhagavad Gita class. So I thank Mataji and the devotees for giving me this chance to speak on Bhagavad Gita and glorify Krishna and the Guru Parampara. So I seek your blessings to glorify them. Hare Krishna. So as everybody knows, so now the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6. This is Dhyana Yoga and text 6. Bandhur ātmāmanas tasya yenātmaivātmanā jitaḥ. Anātmanas śatrutve vartetātmaiva śatru-vat. You just read one more time. Bandhur ātmātmanas tasya yenātmaivātmanā jitaḥ. Anātmanas śatrutve vartetātmaiva śatru-vat. Translations. Bandhu, bandhu, friend. Atma, the mind. Ātmana, the living entity. Tasya, of him. Ena, by whom. Atma, the mind. Eva, certainly. Ātmana, by the living entity. Jitaḥ, conquered. Anātmanas, of one who has failed to control the mind. 2. But śatrutve, because of enmity. Varteta, remains. ātmāeva, the very mind. śatru-vat, as an enemy. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Okay, I'm very sorry. I just missed the translation copying, but the book is there in my hand. I'll just read it. Translation. For him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. It's a very important verse. One of the, Prabhupada has quoted this analogy many times. For him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. Purport. The purpose of practicing eightfold yoga is to control the mind in order to make it a friend in discharging the human mission. Unless the mind is controlled, the practice of yoga for show is simply a waste of time. One who cannot control his mind lives always with the greatest enemy, and thus his life and its mission are spoiled. The constitutional position of the living entity is to carry out the orders of the superior. As long as one's mind remains an uncontrolled enemy, one has to serve the dictations of lust, anger, avarice, illusion, etc. But when the mind is conquered, one voluntarily agrees to abide by the dictation of the personality of Godhead, who is situated within the heart of everyone as Paramatma. Real yoga practice entails meeting the Paramatma within the heart and then following his dictation. For one who takes to Krishna consciousness directly, perfect surrender to the dictation of the Lord follows automatically. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadanti Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Raguna Danmitam Tvam Shachivam Satvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamsya Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Dinamini Karni Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarni Namo Vishnu Padaya Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Garatise Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakhya Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpade Gopeshu Gopika Kantarada Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusate Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Rama Ramo, Hare Hare. Vancha kalpatarobhyasya kripa sindhubhya evacha paditanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna. So this is a chapter titled Dhyana Yoga, chapter 6. We are reading. So the verse we can see bandhur ātmātmanas tasya yenātmaivātmanā jitaḥ anātmanas śatrutve vartetātmaiva śatru-vat. For him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. So we have His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj gives one example. Tells that so in us there are two kinds of dogs. One is a good dog, and another is a bad dog. So it depends how you feed. What you feed. Based on that dog becomes strengthened. If you feel good qualities, if you feed, like to the mind, good, good things as input, so then that dog becomes stronger. And if you feed this kama, krodha, lust, anger, avarice, these kind of things, then that God becomes strong. So our actions will be. So he said that very nice verse. So, like, who is best friend? If somebody asks, so what is the answer? Mind. One's mind is the best friend. We can't find a best friend than the mind. Okay. And then who is the worst enemy? Who is the worst enemy? That's also mind. One who has not able to control the mind, for him, this is the worst enemy. Like, what is the role of a mind? So, what the mind has, Prabhupada tells in one of the conversations with some professor. So, like this professor asks to Prabhupada, what is mind? So, Prabhupada tells that in many purports also there, mind is like an instrument. Okay. So what this instrument does, it just tells, okay, yes, no, I agree, disagree, okay, accept, reject. Like this, mind continuously it processes. It's a machine. Mind is like a machine. How it processes? Through intelligence. Okay. So mind, like it has to give, you have to give something for the mind to process, or else it gets its own information to process. Okay. So now here we can see this is a machine which identifies whether it's a good bottle or not a good. Like it's a like that mind. It try to find whether my whatever decisions are coming, actions are coming in my mind, whether it's yes or no, accept it or reject it. So it goes on continuously like this. Now we all know an idle man's brain is the devil's workshop. So this is a famous proverb. What does it mean? If you keep the brain, like mind, empty, it tries to destroy. You have to fill it with something. Okay. So we can see from Bhagavatam the nature from the false ego of goodness, another transformation takes place. From this evolves the mind, whose thoughts, and reflections give rise to desire. What does it mean by desire? Desire means I accept some things, I reject some things. Accept, reject. Okay. So very important thing here is the mind is one element which is in our body is always in the mode of goodness. So if something is in mode of goodness, we have to, if it has to be used properly, it has to engage in that way. So if we don't keep our mind in the mode of goodness activities, then that will become the worst enemy. If we keep the mind in the mode of goodness, then it becomes the best friend. This is a very important actually, because if something is meant for a purpose, we have to use in that way. If we don't use it, then it will try to destroy. So, like, and what is the state of uncontrolled mind? Like, if a mind is there, if it is not controlled, what it will do? So, this is from Bhagavatam. Failing to conquer this irrepressible enemy, the mind, whose urges intolerable and who torments the heart. Many people are completely bewildered and create useless quarrel with others. We see, like, there are quarrels at different stages. Like the quarrels are there in the family, among the family members, brothers, parents and children, then at a community level, then at a city level, then at a state level, at a country level, then at the among countries. Like we can see the quarrels. But all these things are coming for what? Because one fails to control one's own mind. If one's own mind is controlled, then all these useless quarrels, you can see, useless quarrels can be avoided. So they conclude that other people are either their friends, their enemies, or parties indifferent to them. Yeah. Like Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, one Pandita Samadarshina, who is with equal vision, one who sees, Pandita Samadarshina. A learned person, he sees everybody is active because his mind is controlled. And in the similar, is another thing is the powerful mind actuates the functions of the three modes of material nature, from which evolves the different kinds of material activities in the modes of goodness, ignorance, and passion. From the activities in each of these modes develop the corresponding statuses of life. So it means different living entities are coming into existence or different states, they are because of this uncontrolled mind. Now, never see, no, what could be a solution, like how to transform this uncontrolled mind? There's so many solutions we will see. One of the things Prabhupada explains that, so why this Krishna conscious movement is there? Why this ISKCON is established? The purpose of this Krishna conscious movement is to fix the mind on Krishna. When the mind is fixed on Krishna, he cannot do anything but act as our friend. So here Prabhupada is saying how mind will act as a friend when we fix our mind on Krishna. He has no scope to act any Hare Krishna.
Yes, you're back now, Prabhu.
Okay. Just a minute, Mataji. I don't know why it happened. So, as soon as Krishna is seated in the mind, there is a light, just as when the sun is in the sky, darkness is vanquished. So, this is one of the famous shloka Srila Prabhupada quotes from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna Surya Sama, Maya Hai Andakara, Yahan Krishna Tahi Nahi Mayara Adhikara. So, where Krishna is just like the sun, and when he is present, there is no scope for darkness. If we keep Krishna in our mind, the darkness of Maya will never be able to enter. Keeping the mind fixed on Krishna is perfection of yoga. If the mind is strongly fixed on Supreme, it will not allow any nonsense to enter, and there will be no fall down. If the mind is strong, the driver is strong, we may go wherever we may desire. The entire yoga system is meant to make one's mind strong and make it incapable of deviating from the Supreme. So we will see, what is the essence, like how we can do it. And we can see here, a child. A child always, he requires something. If we say that, okay, child is silent, means he is doing something. We cannot make child not doing without doing anything. He's sitting idle at one place. So a child, you give some toys, he will start playing. So that means, now the child is silent. So in the same way, mind cannot be empty. It has to do something. It requires some actions. So this is one thing very important. We have to remember it. Okay. So Srila Prabhupada, this is from the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna explains in the 17th chapter. Actually, we do actions with three things. One is mind, then by words, and then body. Like by mano, vak, kaya. Kaya means body. So here, what is how to execute actions with mind? What is that means? Satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence are the austerities of the mind. So if one are doing these things, that means then he has ability to control the mind. You know, if he's following, if he's satisfied with whatever is given by Krishna, and if he's leading a simply simplified simple lifestyle, and if he's great in his actions, not like childish, or he's not taking things for casual, and he's self-controlled, senses are controlled, and he's leading life for self-realization, purification of one's existence, bhava samshuddhi, then he can do it. So Prabhupada gives a very nice solutions in this purport. If we can control mind only if then only mind can be controlled. Prabhupada repeats this again, this 2-3 times. So I'll just read this purport. To make the mind austere, to detach it from sense gratification, it should be trained that it always thinks of doing good for others. Means if I have to control my mind, if I have to make my mind as a best friend, I have to think of doing good for others. Then only I can control my mind. If somebody says that no, you don't need to do good, you don't need to do harm others, no, it's not possible. So to tell, our process of Krishna consciousness is not renounced, but refined. Normally people think that doing yoga, or becoming religious or spiritual means renounce the things. No. Actually, the actual process of Krishna consciousness means not just renounce or refine. We have to refine. What do you mean by refine? We have to purify the things. Everywhere. Like, what are the things, 4 things I do? I do, ahara, nidra, bhaya, maithunancha. These 4 things I should refine. When I refine these 4 things, then automatically my mind I can try to control. If I try to renounce artificially, no, I will not eat too much, okay, I will not sleep, okay, and I will not speak, it will not be possible. I eat only Krishna prasadam. I only see, like all the things, like all my senses, everything is to be refined in their actions. Like I cannot say I will not see anything. No, I see only Krishna's form, beautiful form, or Krishna's dham, or I use only for the service of Krishna, all each and every senses. Then I can say I can purify the senses. Let me continue this. The best training for the mind is gravity in thought. One should not deviate from Krishna consciousness and must always avoid sense gratification. To purify one's nature is to becoming Krishna consciousness. Satisfaction of the mind can be obtained only by taking the mind away from thoughts of sense enjoyment. The more we think of sense enjoyment, the more the mind becomes dissatisfied. Like there are 2 things here. One is doing good to others. Another is, you can say, sense gratification. If the moment I think of sense gratification means enjoying my senses, I will not be able to do good for others. Moment I think of how can I, then that becomes self-centered, not Krishna-centered. But when I think of doing real good for others, not like artificial good, when really good for others, then that is the way I can control my senses. Controlling senses comes only by controlling mind. It said that mind is the pivot, like central point from where a line, everything went, like a control to eyes, a control to ears, a control to nose, a control to skin, control to what do you say, tongue, everywhere. If I control the mind, all other things are controlled. That's possible only my inputs are all in the mode of goodness to this thing. In the present age, we unnecessarily engage the mind in so many different ways for sense gratification. So there is no possibility of the mind becoming satisfied. The best course is to divert the mind to the Vedic literature. So Srila Prabhupada is saying here, so we should, because mind wants so many things, so you give mind. Prabhupada is saying here, we have Mahabharata. Let mind read necessary novels, magazines, newspapers. Mind should not engage in these things. The mind should devoid of duplicity. One should think of welfare of all. The moment duplicity means that I am differentiating. I am treating one as friend, one as enemy. So that is a dangerous thing. The person in Krishna consciousness observes perfect silence in this sense. What is perfect silence? Controlling of the mind, and silence means thinking always about self-realization. Thinking always about self-realization. Atma Sakshatkar. Okay. One should be, the control of mind means detaching the mind from sense enjoyment. See, you can see here at these 2 points, Prabhupada has emphasized again and again. We should not be engaged in sense gratification, and we should think of doing good for others without any duplicity. Okay. So with these things, I want to tell now, how do we control mind? So His Holiness Sachinandra Maharaj gives an example. Normally, at least I can speak of myself. When I sit for japa, so the mind, which is very restless, it starts roaming. Like, Maharaj gives this example of a bird which is flying, continuously. So my mind, when I'm chanting, going from one thought to another thought, one thought to another thought, somehow, like I just start with Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so first round will be okay, the second round, okay, like the second beat, third beat. Slowly my mind starts wandering. So Maharaj tells that don't worry, you start doing it, start practicing it. Once you start practicing it, it automatically bird will fly. But how long the bird will fly? After some time, the same bird has to come and sit on a branch. So Maharaj tells that, so the best way is to control mind is you go on focusing on the Hare Krishna Mahamantra again and again. Chant it again. Let us hear the mantra again and again. At some point, the mind starts focusing, hearing on the mantra. Because after some time, mind will get tired. If you are determined, if I am determined, if I say that no, it's not working, my mind is not working, so let me do something else, then mind will say, that means indirectly mind has won the game. But if we are determined, no, mind, your job is to chant Hare Krishna Mantra, to hear, to remember Krishna, to think of Krishna. Manmana bhava madbhakto. So, and so when we are determined, Then at some point, mind will start listening to the holy name. Then the mind will become our best friend. Okay. So one of the techniques which we can do in the japa is, to control the mind with to minimize the wandering of the mind during japa. So hear the mantra. So Guruji, how can we hear? So Burijan Prabhu gives a very nice logic. He tells that you hear one mantra at a time. One mantra, Hare. So ensure that you hear Hare properly, the first word in every mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Again, because I see, if I try to analyze myself, the quality of different. The moment I start chanting Hare in the starting, by the time I go to the end, some thought has come into my mind which has taken away my mind. Then I have to bring it back. Then again, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Again, it goes away. So my project tells that to ensure that one syllable you are chanting properly. Because one chanting of holy name, pure holy name, is sufficient for us to give Krishna. One. Yesterday Prabhuji was also saying that how Haridas Thakur, out of his humility, he is telling that, oh Lord, Haridas Thakur is chanting 192 rounds, but he is telling, Lord, I don't have taste to chant, holy name. I am not chanting the holy names properly. Then what to speak of us? So it's very difficult even to chant one pure name. So the only way to control this wandering mind is chant at least one mantra with attention. One mantra. Okay, so I will just the many acharyas have given this to control the mind. You have to focus the mind at the lotus feet of Krishna. You have to think of Krishna. So these are the only solutions. So our Ambarish Maharaj tells, Savai Krishna manah padara vindayo vachansi vaikunta gunanuvarnane. Hare Karo Hare Mandira Marjanadishu Sato Satkatodaye. I'm forgetting that remaining stanza. So where he is telling Sabai Krishna Mana Padaravindaye. Always think of Krishna's lotus feet and meditate on the Krishna's lotus feet. So I will stop here. If any questions are there, you can take. I'm sorry if I have ending early. Anything, Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. If you have question, you may unmute and ask your questions.
Hare Krishna,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Prabhuji, thank you for the nice lecture. Just wanted to ask a question that
Yes,
sometimes a person gets addicted to chanting inattentively because since years we are chanting like that only with so much of inattention, even after hearing a nice lecture, even after hearing and reading so much glories about that how it is important to chant attentively, still one fails, and then the time comes that we feel that we can't do it, we can't do it, that attention is very difficult to grab it. So this lecture motivated me, but still, from your personal realization or some practical tip you can share, that how to imbibe that thing, that always we have to be super attentive with chanting.
Mataji, we can reset our goal. We don't need to be super attentive actually, because see, we do not know what is that super attentive in japa actually. So we can at least try to hear. My objective is to hear one mantra attentively. One mantra attentively. I hear one mantra, and once you hear, you understand that no, this quality can be improved. Then again you try to improve that quality. Then again you feel that no, this quality is not, because there is no limit for the attention which we can give to holy name, because Krishna's holy name is unfathomable. We cannot find the deepness. So let us try to dive and understand how much we can the devotees. Because see, as you said, sometimes whatever is the disease, but still, if a qualified doctor is there, physician is there, he can cure it. In the same way, we may have we may have we may be inattentive for millions of lifetimes. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We are inattentive for millions of lifetimes. But Krishna is merciful, and Krishna's holy name is merciful. But when we sit in front of the devotees and chant, it really has an impact. They will, it automatically cures. Sometimes they see and correct, because Krishna as a super soul will inspire if we are sincere. Them correction, because I see one devotee. One time he is not chanting properly. So I told the devotee, it's not that I told, one devotee has given this suggestion that you record your holy name, like you are chanting, and you hear again. So the devotee, he recorded his holy name, his one round of Hare Krishna mantra, he heard it again. And then he felt that I am missing so many mantras. He himself has realized it. So then in that process, he has improved. We can find a ways if we want to improve our japa. Krishna will inspire, and I'm sure so many devotees are there. You can go and we see now this dadati pratigushnati guhyam akyati pruchhati. So we can ask the devotees. It is said that here guhyam akyati pruchhati means the three things it refers to. One is we inquire about Krishna. Like Krishna Katha, we ask for Krishna Katha. The second, we ask each other, how to serve Krishna better. Like that could be general, open. One is Krishna Katha, another is Krishna Seva, and third is, which is confidentially, where we can ask, okay, this is the problem I am facing, so how can I improve? So that devotee, like a doctor, when we speak to them, so he will diagnose and do. I'm sure solution will be there. Whatever, we may be chanting, at most we may think 10 years, 20 years, but we are inattentive towards Krishna from millions of lifetimes. So it doesn't matter these 10, 20 years when it compares to those many years. So I'm sure Krishna will help us. Okay, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay, no questions. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for giving this opportunity. Okay.
Thank you very much.
अनंत कोटि वैष्णवानंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.